Because seriously, we're putting innocent mutants into a jail just for the sake of having it funded. Hey guys, it's your girl Anisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're here with another reaction to Wonder Man. We're on season 1, episode 3, which is called Pacoima. Pacoima. There we go. It looked like an L, guys. Forgive a girl, she's got the stigmatism. Anyways, last episode, we are continuing on the journey of getting to know Simon, and the episode was all about Simon potentially getting this role in this dream role and having to submit a tape. And through the process of him trying to submit the self-tape, we learn a lot about his insecurities, his overthinking, and he and Slattery are developing a relationship, which of course at the moment feels like it's genuine, but we know that Slattery is actually playing Simon. Simon does not know this yet, but of course, after an interaction with Joe Pantoliano, I think that Slattery is starting to realize that there's more to Simon than he maybe thought initially, and I do think he genuinely was touched by that interaction. So we'll have to see what happens as they continue this journey, because I do think the real is going to start bleeding into the fake very quickly. So ready to jump into this episode. Just before I do, please hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you can be aware of when I drop episodes. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now.
It's just so hard since their father passed. I can't be everywhere at once.
Take a deep breath for me and blow out hard and fast.
That's as hard and fast as you can do.
He was in the room where it started. The firefighter had to wake into the kitchen to get him.
I called 911 as soon as I
And he has barely any injuries, huh?
Your son shows no signs of smoke inhalation.
Look at that.
No cough, no burns, not even skin irritation.
So it's all okay?
Black boy magic.
We could do a chest x-ray, but I really don't think that's necessary.
Oh, thank goodness.
But you should be more careful when using the stove on your own. It was the stove, right?
What are you accusing me of, madam?
Supernatural threats. That's our
Okay.
simple directive. Protect this country from supernatural threats.
Okay.
State-of-the-art, high-security prison. We have everything we need to do an essential job for our nation.
Okay.
There's just one problem.
What's that?
Do you know what the problem is?
You need to find ways to falsely imprison
is
people?
half empty. And the Congressional Budget Office is up our ass looking at every nickel and dime or cost.
Isn't that crazy? Like, it's a real metaphor for the real world and how the prison system is actually a business in the U.S.
Every single person here is going to need to look carefully at what you're contributing.
As in, we need to falsely put people in that prison?
But it ain't so bad on the side of the track.
Hey, he was just getting into the flow.
I'd say.
Yeah, what do you think? This guy's not a criminal.
And Simon's hard drive, we can place him at the scene. It's almost enough.
And you're sure he's dangerous?
Right?
For what it's worth, he seems like a
Thank you.
Simon's mother's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh.
He's going to her party in Pacoima. I want you there, and I want you wearing a wire. Do some digging with the family about the fire. Get me something I can use.
When he was 13?
You're going soft, and I don't have any time to waste. Get me something I can use, or we're done.
Maybe go back to prison. Because seriously, we're putting innocent mutants into a jail just for the sake of having it funded.
No, Simon, it is crazy in here. Do you know who we're about to
Per,
find?
as Beyonce said.
You know, if they don't give you a call back, it means they're clowns.
Nah,
Making a terrible movie you wouldn't want to be part of anyway.
per. They're lost.
You can always find a way to act.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I'm following. Where are you taking me?
Short film, a play.
Play, yes, the play's the thing.
Plays are actually great experience for actors. Yeah.
No rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters. I tax not you, you elements with unkindness.
I love the way,
give
you see the way
kingdom
Simon
for
gets so
children.
immediately immersed. He loves this world.
A little piece of a big soul. One big soul that belongs to everybody. Then it don't matter. I'll be all around.
I love it. They both have such an appreciation for the art that they just get enamored with each other when they're like, when they're ripping off their skills.
Filled with such longing,
Love it.
such unfulfillable longing.
I also just love like the blissful absurdity of this connection, right? Like these two people who probably in no other way would interact or interface, yet they have this great commonality between them.
It's gonna be just a bunch of aunties and cousins sharing war stories of growing up Haitian.
I've always been an exceptional buffer.
Have you?
My family doesn't know I got fired from American Horror Story. So,
As Belinda Carlisle famously sang, our lips are sealed.
Our lips are sealed. Come on, everybody.
happy birthday, mommy.
Her.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh,
Who is this white man?
just had my kitchen renovated for my birthday. Oh, you'll never believe the transformation.
Really?
Saw it before, mommy.
You'll be able to tell. Everyone in church is so excited. You're gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah, let's go with that.
This is where Simon grew up.
Simon was born right in this house.
I wasn't born in the house.
Oh, he knows what I mean.
Let the woman live. Jeez, Simon.
Did you bring the whipped cream?
I can go out.
I asked you to do one thing.
Who needs whipped cream when we are having cake?
Absolutely. Cake should stand alone.
Who are you?
Weren't you the Mandarin?
Then I took a role posing as an international terrorist to pay my drug and prostitution debts.
Okay, that's honest. We appreciate. Look at
You
me.
have to see the new kitchen. Give them the tour.
Why'd you bring this Obi out to my house?
I always wanted an island.
And check this out.
A refrigerator.
Wow, nicely done, Eric.
Just making conversation.
Oh, it's not much of a story.
It certainly sounds like one. A kitchen, a fire. It's packed with drama already.
Look at him, just milking him.
I mean, what 13-year-old doesn't understand how a stove works?
It was my fault.
So his brother has suspicions.
Yola!
I hate it. He's mining for info, but okay, now we know his brother is highly suspicious, which makes sense. So the family doesn't know he's got powers then. What are the clothes going into the barrel? Is this a Haitian thing?
What was Simon like as a child?
Quiet.
Interesting.
That's it.
That's all you've got to say.
Yeah.
I have never much liked him, to be honest.
Why?
I wasn't asking for your preference, Esther. Just some Simon stories. Bloody hell.
Right? Don't talk about my friend, he said.
I love Captain America.
Which
He
one?
gets the full package.
Well, you're really just like a regular dude who can throw a shield, right?
Oh, is that how you feel?
Really?
Shaken up after the kitchen fire?
We didn't talk much.
But you carpooled every day.
Yeah.
Quiet, remember?
Is that a lot for a week?
That's a full week.
Wow.
You think auditions are easy, man? You try them.
Allez, c'est pas manger.
He understands Creole.
You know I can understand you, right?
Right?
Now I know you're lying.
What? I'm not lying.
No one's happy to talk to my neighbor, Esther.
That's true. She's an ass. Eric seems sweet, except for his clear issues with his brother. But I have a feeling it has more to do with the fact that Simon is keeping secrets.
Well, Eric has some big news. Go on, motion.
Mela.
Tell them.
New job?
You know, there's a couple of our claims reps who are going to be promoted in the next quarter. So we're going to have some openings.
AKA get a real job, Simon? Yeah.
Any big role, they're gonna want to see you a few times. Sometimes you may even meet the director.
So it's a second interview for a job you...
That's like any other job these days.
For a job of this scale, a callback alone is a huge accomplishment.
What exactly are you doing at this party, man?
What exactly are you doing in life, sir?
Let's not forget that Simon just did the American Horror Story movie.
It's a movie again.
Simon, tell your brother about the American Horror Story.
He already knows you got fired. Gonna snoop? Snoop-a-doop, snoop-a-doop.
Nearly got into a fight with the neighbor woman.
Yeah, well, let's hope something comes up for your sake.
Shut up.
Now I know I can indulge without worrying about my cholesterol.
Okay. Get out of my room, weirdo.
Eric can be a lot.
You shouldn't be doing dishes at your own party.
I agree.
Sanford and I always loved it.
What happened to Sanford?
A good place to raise kids.
Where's Sanford?
Who doesn't ever make a friend?
He's an artiste. A little prickly.
Maybe. Or he's scared.
When Simon was little, he fell off his bike.
Oh.
As they do.
I took him through to the kitchen, I cleaned him up, and he demanded I kiss his knee.
To kiss it better.
Exactly.
Purr.
He looked up and said something he's never said again. Thank you for loving me, Mommy. I'd fall apart right there. I don't know if he meant it the way I took it, or if he was just saying something.
He knows he's different.
I thought he didn't mind how alone he was. He has his acting, his Criterion DVD collection.
But his girlfriend just broke up with him.
Maybe he doesn't feel alone. But he was.
Solitude is not the same as loneliness.
Glad he's got a friend.
How's that guilt trip feeling there, Trev? I know he doesn't want to do it. He didn't ask to do this. And what's more, not only does he know that Simon's a good person generally, but that he doesn't even feel, look at him, he doesn't even feel like he's in the right place amongst his family. And you know you're working to put an innocent man into jail he'll never get out of.
An ice cream maker. You were listening when I said I wanted to be an ice cream mixologist.
Eric? No, really. Since I'm the one who's been supporting you.
Oh my God.
I paid for this kitchen.
Okay.
I know you're still giving money to Simon, because how else would he be surviving?
All right, fine.
No, Mommy, it wasn't my fault. It was creative differences.
Of course, nothing is ever your fault.
I say, Eric.
When are we going to start being honest about this problem?
In front of the company?
With no discernible change in your career?
Don't upset him.
Right. Don't upset him. Let's all just protect Simon's feelings.
Uh-oh.
On her birthday gift, like he's 5 years old, and I'm the crazy one for treating my grown-ass brother like an adult.
Well, guess you got your proof. It would have to be like the brand new island that she wanted so bad.
What the hell, Simon?
You mean what the
What's
hell?
wrong with you?
What do you mean what the hell? What the hell? You're the hell, sir. Wait, why are we pulling over? This is crazy. I just saw you bust a table like it was a cracker. Can you not pull over in the dark?
Outside my family.
We don't have to talk about it.
I
think we do.
It came from.
I think you do.
You know I'll never work again if anyone found out.
Why? What are you talking about?
Because of DeMar Doorman Davis.
Sorry, who's DeMar Doorman?
The Dorman clause. We heard about that yesterday. Last episode.
Maybe it's time for me to admit that Eric was right.
Screw Eric.
Maybe it's time for me to admit that it's never gonna be me.
You don't know that?
I think that's the break's not what you need. Huh. Very on the nose. I think we need to talk about what's going on inside.
I need to pee.
Out here? Do we have a bladder problem, sir? We can't hold it for like 10 minutes till we get to an actual restroom? You're a good man, Trev. Thank you. I knew all that time on Shang-Chi had to have changed you a little.
Simon? Was someone hurt? Is it your mum?
Did he get the part?
That was Janelle, my agent.
Oh, no.
No, wait. No, wait.
He was trying to get a hold of the both of us. No, I had your info.
Why? What happened?
Because we got it. Because we got it.
We both got callbacks for Wonder Man.
Why? Because we're talented. Why? Because we're passionate. We're gonna nail it. And you're gonna get famous so that these bitches can't touch you and send you to a prison where you'll never be seen again under false pretenses. No false imprisonment on our watch. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 3. Loved it. Loved it. So many things to appreciate in this episode. You know, the whole premise of Trevor having to dig deeper into Simon as far as trying to find evidence as to why he can be considered dangerous enough to be forcefully put into this institution, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the reaction, now we know the impetus behind why they're looking for him. Because remember I said back in episode 1, if he really is dangerous, if he is this mutant that's out of control, they wouldn't need to go this route to capture him. They could just go get him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in a world that's post the Sonovia? Is that what it's called? Sonovia Accord? I can never remember the place where Wanda's supposed to. Sokovia. There we go. The post-Sokovia Accord. So point is, if he was actually a real threat that was viewed as such, they would have rounded his ass up already. So I was like, why are they doing this? Who wants him? And now we know. It's all about this prison that someone spent billions on, and that is supposed to be a money maker, but they only have it half full. And because they haven't filled it to the brim with potentially dangerous mutants, they're getting threats that the funding will be cut, aka translating into people's salaries are going to go down. And it's not going to be those little guys like this man who's pressuring Trevor. It's going to be the big guys at the top that are probably making six figures to sit in this position. So all that to say, now it makes so much more sense. I really do love the metaphor that they're drawing here, because as I mentioned also in the reaction, because right now today in America, their penal system is a business. Their prison system is a business, which is why they have the highest incarceration rate of any country in the world. And considering that they don't even have the largest population, that's kind of crazy. So anyway, we already know, well, maybe you don't, but I mean, you can do your research on how there is this whole pipeline that they've created to make sure that those prisons stay full. The fact that they keep building them, which means that they're going to increase more reasons to throw people in them. But anyway, I love the parallel that they're drawing here with the idea of doing this with mutants as well, because why not? These prisons are probably far more expensive to maintain, aka more money. So of course they want them full. So that's what's basically going on right now. Poor Trevor has been tasked with framing this man effectively, giving them enough evidence to be able to snatch Simon and throw him in there just to get another paycheck, right? The guy who's managing Trevor, his job is on the line if he doesn't meet a quota. And I'm guessing that's probably the case with a lot of other agents. So honestly, that in of itself, considering that this Simon happens to be black, a little crazy. But anyways, so now that we kind of understand the why of what's going on, we see that Trevor's got an opportunity to potentially get more about Simon's past via this birthday party that he's going to for his mother. And we got the flashback of when he was 13 years old. There was a fire that was started. Again, we still don't know the full extent of Simon. They haven't shown us, I should say, the full extent of Simon's powers. Obviously, people who are aware of this story from the comic, you know, but I am very new to this. But we do know, like I said, I see that those vibrations seem to come out of him. It looks like it's, you know, we see it does destructive damage. His eyes change color. I don't know if there's anything more to that. I don't think there's a pyrokinesis aspect, but I'm not going to rule it out. My guess is that the fire that happened all those years ago is because his powers went off and somehow the stove reacted to it. I mean, I think a lot of stoves in California are gas, so I could definitely see an explosion happening from that. But yes, that point in time, him being in the heart of the fire, with the heat, with the smoke, with the gas, all of that, him coming out of it with not so much as smoke inhalation. That's why the doctor was kind of like, are you sure you were in the kitchen? And we're sure that it was from the stove, right? Because it's not matching up. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. That does make me curious about Simon's age in the timeline, because I'm like, in this world, would you not then jump to the conclusion that he could potentially be a mutant? if he survived that with no issues. But anyways, we have that flashback, and then when we go to this party, and one of the things I've really liked about a lot of these Marvel shows and a handful of movies where we've had lead characters that are from different cultures that are not American or traditionally American, I like when they take these opportunities to sprinkle a little bit of the background and the history and the culture into it. So I love the little Haitian flair that they showed in here. Love that this, you know, this is part of his community. And we see there that, love it, Simon's mom is the warmest woman ever. And from that party, we learned a little bit more about Simon's dynamic as far as his family. His mom seems like a typical warm Caribbean mom. We love that. And he's got an older brother. We're not sure how much older. He seems like he might be significantly older. And their father, unfortunately, has passed away. It looks like it happened when he was quite young as well. But what comes off immediately is that his brother and him don't get along. There's some tension there. And of course, while Trevor is out here trying to learn more about Simon, what we've learned about him is that he's always been a bit of a recluse, right? Very, I want to say probably somewhat introverted, but shy, I think is probably more like it. But my guess is that he probably exhibited the powers quite early, and he didn't know how to explain them. And because he didn't know how to explain them and was probably scared of what people might think, he chose to isolate himself so that his powers would not potentially affect others. But I think even before that, maybe Simon's always felt a little different than other kids. And that's one of the reasons why he kind of, hung back. Or maybe, you know how kids are too. Maybe he tried to express his love for movies or other things, and maybe someone told him he was weird. And from that point, he just decided to kind of just shut off from people. There's so many explanations that are possible. But the point is, he was a very quiet, reclusive kid. And it was to the point where his mom said he just never even made any friends. And that part is kind of crazy, right? Because typically with children, especially when they're in that elementary school age, usually friend making is very easy, right? Because kids don't really think, it's not that deep to them at that age, right? You guys play together on the playground 2 times, you're friends. You know, you share a piece of your snack, you're friends. So the fact that during that time of your life when most kids are most social and adaptable, that even then he didn't seem to make any friends, that's kind of crazy. And so anyways, hearing that story, which I thought that was such a beautiful moment with Simon's mom and Trevor, when Trevor, of course, was trying to learn a little bit more about anything that could show that Simon was somehow unstable or dangerous as a kid. And the mom tells a story about when he scraped his knee and she, you know, showed him some care, some affection. And he said to her what she said, like out of nowhere. He said it then. He said it's the first time he said it. It was the last time he said it. He said, "Thank you for loving me, Mom." Right. And I actually got a little choked up hearing that, because I feel like that's such a metaphorical statement for anybody who's ever felt othered or felt alone or felt like they're different or felt like they didn't quite fit in. When you don't have a plethora of friends or you have a hard time connecting with people, when you do have people who stand by you and love you and really show you that they're there for you, it's so much more meaningful. And then again, as the mom brought out, Simon was so lonely that his mom was effectively the only person he felt like loved him, despite the fact that he wasn't the most, shall we say, conventionally friendly or sociable person, right? So anyways, you know, when Trevor heard that, you could see that as the night went on, Trevor hearing from all these people that he was a quiet kid, that he was pretty reclusive, that he really didn't bother anybody, and then hearing from his own mother that this kid didn't even have connections or friends. Like, you know, Trevor, I think, really identifies with him. Like, Trevor's not the same. We've seen that Trevor's like lived a very crazy life, but I do think Trevor identifies with the sense of disconnection and loneliness, particularly since everything went, you know, tits up with the whole Mandarin thing. So anyway, I think that's really where, you know, he was already on the edge of teetering to sabotaging the the Department of Damage Control, as far as Simon was concerned, after Simon stood up for him with Joe Pantoliano. But this, I think, was the final, like, hearing that story and hearing that this is really just a very lonely child in a man's body that doesn't deserve any of this as it stands. That's really when he kind of locked in. And then because he'd heard that story, then later on, when he kind of, you know, perceived almost immediately that Simon's older brother has a real problem with him, his brother thinks he should be doing a certain thing, living a certain way, and his way of dealing with that is by chastising and demeaning and looking down on Simon. You know, when he saw that, where his brother, right, like right now, Simon really only has 2 people that he feels like he can count on. That's his mom and his brother. And to have his brother be someone who's crapping on him, crapping on his passion, making him feel bad, and then basically even crapping on his thoughtfulness of buying his mom a gift, like him shattering that island. You know, Trev, I think, was a little scared in the sense of, oh, but you know, after what Trev's seen, after what Trev has seen, like, again, this man has been to the magical kingdom of Shang-Chi. He has seen some crazy shit. Exploding an island ain't nothing. He's like, I can deal with that. That ain't scary. Thanos is scary. Okay, this is not scary. But anyway, so I think between that and, of course, hearing what his mom had to say, you know, that's why Trev really didn't feel like there was any explanation needed. He didn't feel like that was scary. He did not think that that qualified as dangerous behavior. I mean, obviously, if the department heard that, they would have used that as their, you know, their evidence, but he's not saying anything. Right. And then we see later on when they have that conversation in the car, Simon just kind of opens up and says, you know, like, I'll understand kind of like if you're freaked out. And I love that Trev just said, we don't have to talk about it. Like, if you don't want to talk about this, if you don't want to go into why you did it, that's fine. We don't have to talk. But we hear from Simon that he says he doesn't know where it comes from, right? And that's kind of a nebulous statement, because I don't know if that means he doesn't know where the powers themselves come from, or if he doesn't know what drives him to getting to that point. And then he says that the reason that he needs this, you know, this is happening is because he needs his big break, right? He needs his big Hollywood break. He needs to have the success in his acting career after a decade of failures. And while I think that's part of the problem, as I started to say in the episode, I think it's deeper than that. I think that when you have somebody who is as socially reclusive as he is, and again, we don't know the full reasons for that yet, that's going to build up a lot of resentment. And you can see with Simon, he's a repressor. He doesn't express his emotions easily. Again, that could be linked to the powers, but it's not healthy to hold all your emotions back. His girlfriend of years left him and was planning to leave him when he was at work, and he didn't shed a tear. He didn't yell. He didn't express anything outside of a little mild frustration until he actually looked at her picture and blew a hole in his wall, right? So I do think there's more to it, is my point. There's a lot of emotions, I think, that are trapped inside this man, and that is probably why his outbursts are so huge. But yeah, again, it could also just mean that he's not sure of why he's able to do what he can do. And so now I feel like after this episode, he is aware that he has powers, but the extent of them, why they're there, all that, I think that's all still a big question mark that he's never bothered to delve into. So anyway, that was a great conversation between him and Trev, and just explaining kind of where his darkness comes from. And Trev, I think, understands and really does resonate so much with Simon on that. And I said that early in the episode as well, that him and Simon bond so well too, because like I said, it's such an odd couple type of relationship between the two of them. In any other world, they probably would not mesh, but they just have this beautiful passion that they share for the arts and for acting in particular, that just has made them this really cool, resonant friendship, that normally would not have happened. So anyway, all of that culminating to the point of we see in the end that Trev decides, nah, I can't do this. I can't betray him. Really was what it comes down to. You can't betray this kid whose trust clearly does not go out easily. He's not someone who lets people in very easily. He doesn't let people into his inner circle. We heard his ex-girlfriend even say, you don't let people in, Simon. So the fact that Simon's cracked that door open a little bit for Trev, he recognizes now just how special he is to have that open to him, even if it's been under less than honest circumstances. So yeah, he's decided that he's not going to play 100% ball with them. And that's huge, because we all know that it's not just a matter of him, just not getting the case cracked. For Trevor, this means he could go back to prison. So he's finally kind of showing that he cares about Simon and putting himself at risk as much as Simon's at risk right now. So yes, if the truth does come out, I do think that Simon he'll be upset, but I think he'll appreciate when he hears the stakes. He'll understand that Trevor Lee is a friend, even if he wasn't introduced in a natural way. So yeah, this is another really good episode. I really love how they're emotionally building this connection between the audience and Simon, and this beautiful anticipation as to what is actually going on with his powers and what's the history behind that. And I do feel like there's a little bit of a gap there as far as like the father's death and when Simon figured out that he had powers that we still have yet to answer. So I am looking forward to continuing the story. So yes, I enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.